What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode. We are at round 5 of our first season in this My Team Career Mode as Jaguar Racing, and we are going to be at the Miami Grand Prix. Last time out we were at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It was a sprint weekend, and both the sprint and the race were very similar stories. I had very strong starts, but I really struggled to capitalize on my initial pace, and after the tires went off I was just an absolute sitting duck compared to the rest of the AI, and we finished 18th and 20th in the sprint and the race respectively. So yeah, I hope that we can perhaps make a bit of a recovery here. We have yet to score any points this season, although I would argue that we probably do deserve to have scored some points, especially considering there was a glitch involving a red flag in Australia. But as I've said many times before, this is a track that I think I tend to do quite well at. You know, this is not a track that I am bad at by any means, and so I think if we can find the pace around here and not get too hamstrung by the fact that again it is quite a high tire deg circuit, we could be on for potentially you know, at least maybe like a top 12 finish or something like that. I don't know if necessarily we'll be able to get into the points, but yeah, I think we can easily aim for sort of 12th or so, you know, with a bit of chaos maybe up front and stuff like that. I see no reason why we shouldn't be able to aim for that. But as usual, I think the target in qualifying is just going to be P15. That's our current sponsorship goal, is to qualify 15th or higher. I know obviously last time we didn't, but we were very fortunate to have Enzo, our teammate, qualifying an absolutely incredible P10, which ties my best qualifying as well. In Australia, we qualified 10th. So yeah, right now me and him looking actually pretty evenly matched, all things considered. In practice we were looking okay, but yeah, I don't know if we've got as much pace around here as it's felt like I've had at some circuits previously. Like I said, if we can get through to Q2 and then maybe challenge sort of some of the cars around us, then I think it would be okay. At the moment, in terms of sort of where we are in the performance index, we are just ahead of I think it's Williams and AlphaTauri, but it might be Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri. And then either Williams or Alfa Romeo is just ahead of us. And then there's a bit of a sort of midfield pack slightly further ahead of Alpine, McLaren, and Haas. So yeah, those are sort of the teams that I want to be sort of punching into the field of, and ideally we should be beating the AlphaTauris, the Williams, and the Alfa Romeos every single time. That's got to be the goal, both in qualifying and the race. You know, if we're looking similar to them, then they've got to be the first thing we compare ourselves to. Obviously, all three of the sort of midfield teams, the McLaren, Alpine, and Haas, they all have very strong drivers at their teams as well, which probably will make them look even better, I reckon. And you know, it's my first season in Formula One. This is only my 5th Grand Prix weekend, so I think I can be forgiven a little bit if I'm not ready to mix it up with the likes of Lando Norris and Nico Hülkenberg. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we make our way into qualifying now. We're going to start out, of course, on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and we're going to see what kind of time we can do. This lap actually wasn't brilliant from what I remember, and we crossed the line as a 1:30.2, and yeah, I think there's definitely some room for improvement there, if I had to guess. So yeah, we'll probably do another run, maybe even on another fresh set of soft compound tyres. And we only actually managed to find a small amount of improvement, nowhere near as much as I would have hoped to find, all things considered. And yeah, it's not even going to be 2 tenths as we come up to the line on our second flying lap. We crossed the line to improve, yeah, just by about 2 tenths or so, and it's good enough for P14. So we do make our way through to Q2, but it's not quite as elegant as I was perhaps hoping we would be able to do it. We were very close to Piastri there, but yeah, we're going to need more pace than that if we want to make it through to Q3, I think. Fittipaldi there in P20. He goes out along with Joe, Magnussen, Albon, Sargent, and De Vries. And yeah, I'm just happy that he even managed to out-qualify the likes of Sargent and De Vries. You know, it proves that he's not the weakest rookie on the grid this season, and I'm pretty happy with his performances so far for the team. I think he's been good for the car that we've given him. We had a few issues on our first flying lap of Q2, which is why I'm glad that we were on a used set of soft compound tyres. We got caught up in a bit of traffic with Russell and Hülkenberg. So yeah, it was only a 1:30.8 on this occasion, and there's definite room for improvement there, you would have to say. And now we are going to start our second flying lap of Q2, and we'll see what kind of time we can do, whether we can find that improvement. We're now on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. The track looks like it's gone a little bit colder, so that might potentially cause us some problems, but hopefully it'll be alright. And you can see as we make our way through the first few corners, already we are 4 tenths up, but we need to make an improvement by about 1 second, I think, if we want to make it through to Q3. Ocon there, I think, is on a 130.0, so it would need to be an 8/10 improvement if we wanted to challenge him for P12. And yeah, I mean, we're looking pretty good right now, and potentially we might be able to find our way in front of not only some of these guys around us who, you know, have been looking pretty fast, but also, actually no, I was going to say Sergio Perez, but he's just improved, and that means that it is going to be it is going to be just mostly normal cars being eliminated here in Q2, regardless of what happens. We're over a second up now as we make our way through the Mickey Mouse section here, and as we come onto this final long back straight, if we can get a good exit from that corner, which we have done, then we're going to find even more improvement coming on the run down to the final few corners. However, we're running out of battery, and this is causing us to lose a little bit of time. I'm not sure what we did here that we did differently compared to the previous lap. I guess maybe being caught up in the traffic allowed me to harvest a bit more battery or something, I don't know. But as we round the final corner, you can see that we are 1.2, almost 1.3 seconds up. I think this is going to be a pretty good lap, to be honest. We crossed the line, it's a 129.5, and that is good enough for P7. So we are through to Q3, and in fine fashion as well, quite frankly. What a lap coming out from us. We out-qualify both of the Alpines, who are both knocked out. Both of the AlphaTauris as well, ahead of the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, who very disappointing there. Out-qualified both Alfa Romeos, confirmed now. One of the McLarens of Piastri at least. And yeah, we'll see if we can try and out-qualify Norris and Hulkenberg for P8. And if we can do that, then I would say that this would have been a very successful qualifying for us, effectively cementing ourselves as the best of the rest, even ahead of Stroll and the Aston Martin, who, I mean, he's been having some very underwhelming performances so far this season, you would have to say. And yeah, we're going to see if we can do anything. This is our one and only lap in Q3. We only had one fresh set of soft compound tyres, but also we had some kind of fault at the beginning, which meant I didn't really think it was worth going out for a banker lap. You know, everyone else had already set their laps. And yeah, I think they just found a little bit more form in this session that I wasn't able to find. Across the line, it's a 129.5. However, it is only good enough to put us P10. And so, yeah, that is the story of qualifying. We weren't able to get ahead of Norris and Hulkenberg in the end, but still a resounding success.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Leclerc, Sainz, and Max Verstappen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
So yeah, you would have to say that that was a pretty good qualifying, all things considered. You know, a Q3 appearance in this car is, you know, like a pole position, to be honest. Like the way that the car is functioning at the moment, it kind of owes itself to nothing more than maybe P15 or so. You know, a Q2 appearance is good, a Q3 appearance is outstanding. The fact that we've had 3 among our 2 drivers over the course of these first 5 races is mightily impressive. We out-qualify our rival Yuki Tsunoda as well, which is something that I am very happy about. You know, I'm very keen to try and beat him here after he kind of embarrassed me a little bit in Azerbaijan with my complete lack of pace once the tires started going off. And yeah, we'll see if we can try and convert this time the 10th place into some points as we get into the Grand Prix.
Welcome to the Miami International Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the NFL outfit, the Miami Dolphins. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles per hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Hulkenberg, Robinson, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ocon, Bottas, Joe, Magnussen, Albon, Fittipaldi, Sargent, Fittipaldi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And Anthony Davidson joins us for this one. And great to have your company. There's no weather to worry about here. What will be going through the drivers' minds as they finish these last-minute preparations?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, so we are going to be starting in P9 after a penalty was applied to, I believe, one of the Ferraris. And I think what we're going to try and do here, I know that it didn't quite work out in Azerbaijan, but because this is quite a high deg circuit, I think we're going to do hard, medium, medium. And you may think that that is a weird strategy, but, you know, I want to maximize the amount of pace that I can get out of this car. And if that means doing a 2-stop, I think that that would be preferable to doing a 1-stop, especially with how bad the tyre wear was and how bad my pace was after the tyres started to go off in Azerbaijan. I think that 2-stops are going to be a lot more meta in this game compared to last year's game, where basically it was always 1-stops. We will see if that rings true or not, but you know, I really do feel like the 2-stop can be a viable option now with how bad the tyre deg is. But we'll see whether that proves to be the right strategy as the race unfolds now. But we're going to get ready to go now as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and we've had a very good start once again. We're starting to expect those. Norris and Russell very slow off the line, and we make our way up into P6, but we go a little bit deep there. We have to take evasive action to avoid Alonso, and that is going to invite Nico Hulkenberg back into the fight with us a little bit, but we do manage to keep him at bay for the time being, and that is an absolutely magnificent start from us. However, it looks like Hulkenberg has a lot of pace. I don't know if he's burning battery or what, but yeah, he's already made his way back into P6 and ahead of us. So we fall to P7, but you know, I'm pretty happy with the start, all things considered. Norris has had an absolutely shocking start, and he's fallen to about 14th by the looks of things. Meanwhile, his teammate, one of the big risers off the start there, up into P9 already. They've basically swapped places for all intents and purposes, Norris and Piastri, and now we're coming under pressure from George Russell in the Mercedes as well. We'll be able to keep him at bay as we come into the Mickey Mouse section. I don't think so. We're going to be wheel to wheel, but he has a lot of aerodynamic grip on that Mercedes. Even without the side pods, he is still incredibly fast compared to us, and that is going to allow Russell to make his way through into P7, and we have fallen down to P8. So whilst it was an initially good start, we struggled to keep the cars around us at bay, and that is going to be incredibly annoying for us. And we're going to try and see if we can keep with them until we get to the DRS zones, because you can see that the cars that are chasing me down now, Piastri and Gasly, are on faster compounds of tyres, and that is going to be really hard to defend from while we're on these hard tyres. You know, there's very little grip on these tyres, so we're going to have to just do everything we can to try and hold them off for as long as we can. But I think that the overtake from them is a foregone conclusion unless we can hold them off until these tyres wear out for them, and then we will maybe be able to do something. But here we are now on lap 2, and you can see that Piastri is closing me down quite significantly at the moment. I think he's burning a little bit more battery than I am. I don't know how the AI seems to have an infinite supply of ERS, but that's how it seemed on both this year's game and last year's game, and that is going to allow the man from Australia to make a move for P8 in this race and push us back down to where we started our grid position of P9. And yeah, very disappointing, but yeah, we'll see if we can do anything to get back at him later, maybe when his tyres go off, and we'll just try and hold off from Pierre Gasly. You may not have noticed, but we're now on lap 3, and yeah, he is now very close behind us. He will have DRS because the DRS has now been enabled. We have DRS to Piastri in front as well, but I think that it is going to be a matter of if and not when. When and not if Pierre Gasly overtakes me, because he is just one, he's in an Alpine, and two, he is on the soft compound tyres compared to my hard compound tyres. I don't think the softs have completely gone off yet, and he manages to make the move as Valtteri Bottas is out of the session, so we'll see what happened to him in just a moment. But yeah, we do lose the position to Pierre Gasly, and that is going to push us onto the fringes of the points down into P10. So this is Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo, and you can see that he has had an engine failure and becomes the first retirement of the Miami Grand Prix. And yeah, very surprising to see a retirement for a Ferrari-powered car. But that is, I think, the first. No, actually, no. The Haas is a Ferrari-powered as well, and Magnus has had a couple. But apart from that, I don't think that the Alfa Romeos have had any DNF so far this season. Speaking of Ferrari-powered cars, Sainz barges his way past me and pushes us out of the points-paying positions. But you know, I'm going to remain optimistic about this. I think we'll be able to keep pace with them, hopefully, with the tyre advantage, which is going to start coming into play in the ensuing laps. You know, I think Tsunoda will start struggling a little bit on those soft compound tyres, and that will hopefully allow us to keep hold of this position for the time being. But as we move on to lap 5, they're actually trying to give me a new strategy to go on to. They want me to go on to a one-stop, pit for mediums on lap 15 now, instead of pitting for a set of mediums on lap 9 and doing 2 sets of mediums to the end. And I mean, if they think that the two-stop is going to hamstring me a little bit, then I guess it makes sense to try and go for the one-stop. I think we're going to have a few struggles, but hopefully it won't be too bad. You know, the AI will be feeling it more than I will, at least the cars around me, because they're all on mediums or softs, which should have even less tyre life than the hards, theoretically. And yeah, I think that will allow us to maybe keep the pace with these guys, and we were keeping the pace actually quite well right up until this lap, when all of a sudden we fall like 1.5 seconds behind where we were. We do manage to catch them up a little bit through the Mickey Mouse section, but then we lose a bunch of time on this back straight once again, and yeah, struggling to keep pace with them. Stroll is now catching me by quite a lot. Like I said, he had a very uncharacteristically poor qualifying session, and that is I think it's going to be a matter of time before he gets past us. I don't think that he's going to have too much difficulty with that, and you can see now as we move on to lap 10, he is right behind me, and he will have the DRS coming up in just a moment as we come along this straight. So I think that it is a bit of a foregone conclusion. Not going to fight it too much, not going to use any battery, just going to allow him to go and see if he can tow me away from Yuki Tsunoda, who I am very keen to finish in front of. Meanwhile, Tsunoda actually gets overtaken by Norris briefly, but he does manage to make his way back past as we now try and close down Lance Stroll and see if we can overtake him along the back straight. I don't know if we're going to have enough pace for this or not. We're going to go to the outside of the corner here. We're going to be wheel to wheel as we come into the corner, and I think I'm going to be able to sweep around the outside a little bit here of Lance Stroll, and indeed we do manage to make the move, and we are back up into P11 as Carlos Sainz is coming in for his first stop of the race, and that moves us back into P10. I don't know if Carlos Sainz is doing a one-stop or a two-stop. If he's doing a one-stop, he'd have to go on a set of hards to the end, which, to be honest, you know, my hards are already starting to go off. They're already at like 40%, so I don't know if the hards can do 19 laps. I think it's going to be a bit touch and go as we get passed by Lance Stroll in the same place he overtook us last lap. But, you know, we're very fast through the Mickey Mouse section, so I think there is all the chance in the world that we might be able to get back ahead of him as we actually make a tiny bit of contact with his rear right tyre there. We checked the front wing, but there's no damage at the moment, so yeah, not looking too bad. But yeah, we'll see if we can keep the pace with Stroll. We're actually having to lift a little bit there to avoid going into the back of him again. So that shows what kind of pace we have through that particular section compared to the AI. Keep in mind, I am on 95 AI. You know, these guys are no slouches. So yeah, it just shows that we have a lot of good pace through that section of corners, clearly. And we managed to get ahead of him once again, but he's going to come straight back at us, and we're going to see who wins out on this occasion. Is it going to be me? Is it going to be him? With the outside line, I managed to put the power down a little bit earlier than he does, and we do make our way back into P10. With the DRS now, we will be able to keep him behind. But wow, what an incredible battle going on between myself and Lance Stroll right now. But yeah, the race is about to change a little bit here, and we're going to inherit one more position as Oscar Piastri is retiring from the Grand Prix. You can see that is an engine failure for him as well, and yeah, very disappointing for him. He was running in a very good spot, you know, I think 8 was where he was. But that promotes us up the order into P9. And yeah, we're looking at potentially maybe scoring some points in this race at the way things are going at the moment. But I think we're about to lose out to Lance Stroll once again, as he is going to have the DRS for the 3rd consecutive lap in this exact same spot. And yeah, we're going to lose out to him for the 3rd consecutive time. So yeah, a little bit disappointing. This time we don't manage to overtake him on the same lap. And we kind of lose out to him a little bit for a while, up until lap 15 now, where we're going to be closing him down into the final sort of hairpin corner. I know there's a few more corners after that, technically speaking, but I kind of view this one as the final corner. However, this is also our pit lap, so even though we managed to get ahead of Lance Stroll here, it's not going to make too much of a difference, as we're going to be coming into the pits anyway, and we're going to be putting on a set of medium compound tyres to the end. I have to admit, at this point in the race, I was very skeptical as to whether the mediums were going to be able to go to the end of the race or not, you know, because we just did 15 laps on the hards, and they're at like 50-60%, so what will the mediums be on after 14 laps? That was my sort of question. I know that we have a lighter fuel load than we had at that point, so it kind of makes sense to say that perhaps the tyre wear won't be quite as severe. But actually, through the pit stop phase, we've lost a lot of positions here to Norris and to Ocon, and we've lost out to Sargent, but he hasn't pitted yet. So unsurprisingly, we do manage to have pretty good pace on him as we exit the Mickey Mouse section there, and we're going to try and overtake him just nice and quickly and try not to lose too much time to Ocon and Norris ahead, who are going to be going on these hard compound tyres to the end. But yeah, very frustrating situation we find ourselves in, where we've actually just lost quite a few positions off the what do you call it, off the pit stop phase, I guess. And one person who we are going to gain on, however, is Nico Hülkenberg, who was definitely ahead of us prior to the pit stop phase, but has come out just behind us as we overtake him as he exits the pits. So yeah, a little bit of a disappointment for Haas there. I know that they're not great on their tyre wear, but you know, I would expect him to maybe do a little bit better than that at least. I think he will have the DRS on us, however, and we don't have too much battery to burn at the moment. We've only got about 10% left in the tank, so I'm going to try and save it for maybe trying to re-overtake him into the main sort of back straight. I think that's probably the smarter play than trying to keep ahead of him for 2 DRS zones. You know what I mean? Especially because I know what kind of pace we have in this Mickey Mouse section. Yes, our tyres are a few laps older than his, but I still think that we will be able to keep pace with him for the time being, and we'll see if we can make the move as we come into the back straight now. We are 0.4 seconds ahead as we go through the DRS detection point, and we'll see what kind of pace we have compared to him. We didn't burn too much battery here, but we are using the DRS now. Will it be enough to get ahead of him? I don't know. We're going to try and dive up the inside here as we come into the final corner. Someone's got some damage there. I'm not sure who that is. I think it's the Red Bull of Sergio Perez, who is pitting again. And so in getting ahead of Nico Hülkenberg there, that is going to briefly promote us up into P11. However, Nico Hülkenberg is coming back at us. He's going to go to our inside here as we come into the first corner, and that drops me down into P12 once again. So yeah, we are right on the fringes of the points here. This is basically exactly where I wanted to be in this race, but I don't know if it's quite going to be enough. And as we move on to lap 20 now, you can see we're coming under pressure once again from the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll on the soft compound tyres. He's going to overtake me in a very uncharacteristic overtaking spot, you know, round the outside before we get to this hairpin here. That is a really interesting move from him. I think we might be able to re-overtake him though, because you know, we would have had the DRS to him, but we actually lose the DRS to him eventually as we move now onto lap 21. And yeah, we just don't seem to have the pace to contend with the guys around us. Carlos Sainz has come in again, and I mean, I don't know whether we're going to be able to get ahead of him or not. I think even though he's on the hard compound tyres, I think he will be able to outpace us in that Ferrari. But there's a big jostle going on here, which extends all the way to sort of like 7th or 8th, I think. I think it's Tsunoda, then Norris, then Hülkenberg, then Ocon, then Stroll, and then Sainz, and then myself. And then Magnussen is also kind of in the fight a little bit behind as well. So yeah, we have a real chance here to maybe even sneak our way into the points if we can get ahead of a couple of these cars. But we're running out of time, you know, only 7 laps to go. And as we move through lap 22 now, we're coming under pressure from K-Mag here. You can see with the DRS, he is going to maybe look at going around the outside of us, but he's not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Ocon and Stroll in the foreground are battling away for P10, I believe that is, at the moment. And we break a little bit late. We have to take evasive action, and we turn that evasive action into a bit of an attack on Ocon there, and we're going to go round the outside through the Mickey Mouse section. What an absolutely ridiculous spot to overtake someone. I can't quite believe that we actually managed to make that move work, but we did. However, it leaves us with no DRS, which is going to make us incredibly vulnerable. And it's not Ocon, but Kevin Magnussen who manages to get ahead of us in the DRS zone. And so we gain 1 position for absolutely nothing as Magnussen gains as well. And yeah, now we are going to try and overtake Lance Stroll, who previously overtook us on lap 20. You know, his soft compound tyres are going off a little bit, and that is going to allow us to maybe try and mount an attack around the outside at the hairpin before the final couple of corners. Feels weird that that's not the final corner. I can't get my head around it. But we do make our way up into P12 once again. And unfortunately, the cars ahead are pretty far ahead at this stage. You know, 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to Norris. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch them before the end of the Grand Prix. It's going to take a big push from us, I think. So yeah, we might have to set off a P12 here, which is what I was targeting before the end of before the race begun. But as we move on to lap 28 now, you can see that I have actually caught up to this battle a little bit. You know, Magnussen currently in P9, Norris P10, and it's Tsunoda, my rival in P11, who I would so dearly love to beat. That would be incredibly good if we could beat him. So we move now into the DRS zone. We're going to be coming up in just a second. We will have the DRS. Tsunoda will have the DRS as well, but Norris is blocking him a little bit, and that is going to allow us to get a run not only on Tsunoda but also on Norris himself, and we're going to go round the outside, a double overtake as we come into the Mickey Mouse section, and we have made our way into the final points paying position in the race, and we've only got 1 lap left. So if we can hold on to this, then this will be our first points of the season. There's only 1 DRS zone and then 1 lap after that, and if we can hold on through those sections, then this will be our first points of the season. So I am very keen to try and hold on to this position. We have Tsunoda, who is hard charging behind us. I think it's Norris actually who is struggling for pace in front of us. You know, he's lost out to a number of cars, Magnussen, myself, Tsunoda, but Tsunoda is keeping pace with us. You know, only 3 tenths behind us as we came to the end of that DRS zone now. And I mean, we are going to burn all the battery we have, but we don't have very much. You know, only 5% there. And we're going to be way out before we get to the braking zone. Tsunoda will have some battery, and he will have the DRS as well. Will it be enough for him to try and mount an attack on us? He's moving to our inside there. We're going to brake nice and late. He's going to have a look up our inside. We've outbraked ourselves a little bit, but it's okay. We have the outside line, and I think we're going to be able to hold on to this just about as we round the final few corners. And we're going to come up to the line to take P10 and our first points in Formula 1. Oh my, what an absolutely incredible race. I did not think that we were going to be scoring points there, but we just about managed to sneak our way into the points. So that was an incredible race from our side.
And that's the checkered flag. What an amazing victory in what has been a great Miami Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
The front runners still absolutely untouchable from our end. You know, we got Verstappen, we got Leclerc, we got Hamilton. The day that I'm able to race with a Red Bull, Ferrari or Mercedes is going to be a fantastic day. Or even with Alonso for that matter. You know, Stroll is a slightly different matter. But if I can even race with Alonso, I'll be pretty happy. But I can't see that happening at all this season at least. And probably not next season either, to be honest. You know, we're on reduced resource point gain, money gain, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, midfield is where we're going to be for the time being.
So let's have a look then at the drivers' standings.
Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table.
Some amazing talent out there on track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. Well, that certainly was an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
So, we make our way ahead of Logan Sargent up into P16 in the Drivers' Championship, which is, pretty nice. And not only that, but we also have made our way up the Constructors' Championship a little bit, up into P9 with that 1 point that we've scored. But our target is to finish P8 in the Constructors' Championship, which means we're going to have to score many more points over the course of the season. I think, ironically, if you watched my previous My Team Career Mode, the last couple of seasons of that, ironically, I think what this is going to turn into, the fight for P8, is a battle between myself and Alex Albon, which is giving me goosebumps just thinking about it. My two-time teammate in My Team Career Mode in F1 22 is going to be my big rival in the first season of F1 23, I think, because at the end of the day, that is the team I think that we're going to be battling over and over again for those points finishes to hopefully find our way into what would it be, P8 in the Constructors' Championship. That is going to be the goal here, so we can get that sponsorship bonus, get a lot of money, improve our facilities, and continue upgrading nice and swiftly as we try and work our way towards the front of the field. I would say that in F1 22 it took about 3 or 4 seasons. I've heard it takes even longer now in this game, which is good because if you don't know already, then we are planning on doing a full 10 seasons. That's the goal here. So we'll have plenty of time for winning later on, but it's all about the journey to the top for the time being. In other news, if you guys aren't following me on Twitch at the moment, we are super close to 1,000 followers over there, so please do consider coming along, giving me a follow. We're doing a lot of open lobbies at the moment, like 2 or 3 times a week, I would say. I've been doing some ranked online racing as well. You can see me get flustered at some dirty drivers in the online, and we've been doing the Breaking Point story mode a little bit as well. I'm actually finishing that the day I'm recording this, so you'll have just missed out on that. But we are planning to get a channel to upload my past broadcasts very soon as well. So please do go follow me, twitch.tv/RealmCopier, link in the description, and help me get even closer to 1,000 followers. We're so close that I can almost touch it. But we had a pretty good race, I would say. First points of the season. I'm very, very happy with the result that we've got here. Somehow Yuki Tsunoda managed to outscore us, which I don't quite understand the mathematics behind that. But we improve ourselves up to acclaim level 5. I'm going to have to take a look at maybe getting some driver perks. I always forget those exist. So I'll need to remember to have a look at doing that when we move into the next race, which is going to be Imola, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what race number 6 in the championship is. So we'll be very interested to see how that one goes, and maybe we can get a good result there as well. It's not one of my stronger tracks typically, but who knows? It seems like everything is up in the air at the moment in this year's game. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.